Good evening, children.
Good
Good
evening,
evening,
ma'am.
Good
Good evening,
evening.
ma'am.
Good evening, children.
Good evening.
Good evening. Okay, this is our next question. Good evening, children. Good evening. Oh no, this is not our next question. Sorry. So this is our first question for today's class. A round balloon of radius r subtends an angle alpha at the eye of the observer. A round balloon of radius r a round balloon of radius r okay, radius r subtends an angle, that means a round balloon of radius r subtends an angle. So this is the eye of the observer. This is the eye of the observer. So this is how you make the figure. A round balloon. What you see here is a round balloon of radius r. It subtends an angle. It subtends an angle meaning it makes an angle. Subtends meaning it makes an angle alpha at the eye of the observer. At the eye of the observer. So this one is alpha. It's not angle of elevation. When the observer looks at the balloon, he gets this view of the balloon. He gets this view of the balloon. And the angle made at his eye is alpha. While the angle of elevation of its center, is beta. So this is the center of the balloon. This is the height of the balloon from the ground. This is the ground level. The height of the observer is not known. So the ground level is the horizontal line also. Now, line of sight, angle of elevation of the center. So you should connect the center of the balloon and the eye of the observer. You must connect the center of the balloon and the eye of the observer. This is the angle of elevation. That is between the horizontal and the line of sight. This is the angle of elevation, which is beta. I'll do it again for you. Angle of elevation of its center. So the line of sight is the line segment joining the center and the eye of the observer. Angle of elevation of the center. Angle of elevation of the center is the angle between, angle of elevation. So it's the angle between the line of sight and the horizontal. Horizontal here is a ground level. Line of sight. It's the angle of elevation of the center. So it's the line segment joining the center and the eye of the observer. That will be the line of sight, and this is beta. The angle between the line of sight and the horizontal is beta. Let's do it again. Round balloon. Radius r. It makes an angle. Of alpha at the eye of the observer. It makes an angle alpha at the eye of the observer. Eye of the observer. A round balloon of radius r subtends an angle alpha at the eye of the observer, while the angle of elevation of its center, this is the center of the balloon. This is the line segment joining the center of the balloon and the eye of the observer. That's a line of sight. That's a line of sight. This is the height of the balloon from the, this is the height of the center of the balloon from the ground. Height of the center of the balloon from the ground. And this is the horizontal line. The angle between the line of sight and the horizontal is the angle of elevation of the center, which is beta. We need to prove that the height of the center of the balloon, this one, the height of the center of the balloon is given by r sine beta cosecant alpha by 2. That means in the right triangle you have alpha by 2, you should use cosecant alpha by 2. And in the right triangle you have beta, you must use sine beta, sine beta. Where you have beta, you must say sine beta. You should not find tan beta or cot beta, or you should not find tan alpha by 2, cot alpha by 2. No. In the right triangle which has alpha by 2, you must find cosecant alpha by 2. And in the right triangle which has beta, you must find sine beta. So you must now make out two right triangles which have beta and alpha by 2 in it. All right. So now we haven't still studied this chapter circles, where you have some theorems based on circles. Let me just tell you the statements without actually making you understand why the result is true. All right. Now the radius and the tangent. Just remember in simple words like this: radius is perpendicular to the tangent. Radius is perpendicular to the tangent at the point of contact. Now, can you see the tangent here? Tangent we have seen in 9th standard. This is a tangent. A tangent is a line that touches the circle at exactly one point. Circle, tangent, radius, 90 degrees. The tangent touches the circle at exactly one point. A tangent is a line that touches the circle at exactly one point. The radius and the tangent at the point of contact are perpendicular to each other. That is, now supposing I take a tangent at this point. Through this point, I draw a tangent. What is a tangent? A tangent is a line that touches the circle at exactly one point. So this is a tangent. Now through this point, if I draw the radius, the tangent and the radius will be perpendicular to each other. See, the line that touches a circle at exactly one point is a tangent. Through that point where it touches a circle, if you draw the radius, that radius and the tangent will be perpendicular to each other. So what I've shown here is the radius through the point of contact. Point of contact is the point where the tangent touches a circle. Point of contact is a point where the tangent touches a circle. Point of contact is a point where the tangent touches a circle. So this one is the tangent. Through the point of contact is the radius. So they are perpendicular to each other. Here also, this is the radius and this is the tangent. This is the tangent This is the point of contact. This is the radius through the point of contact, perpendicular, 90 degrees. And this is the height of the balloon from the ground. So this is also 90 degrees. So this is the triangle which has beta, which is the right triangle. This is the triangle which has beta, which is the right triangle. And there's another property. In circles, there's another property. If this whole angle is 60 degrees, it will be 30 here and 30 here. You can see a tangent here, you can see a tangent here, you can see a tangent here. The tangents, these two tangents, see, I'm not telling you in detail. So these two tangents, they meet here. This is a line segment from the center to the point of intersection of the tangents. In such a situation, if this whole angle is 80 degrees, it will be 40 and 40 here. So here we have the same situation. This whole angle is alpha. So this will be alpha by 2 and the other one will be alpha by 2. Please see this figure. Yeah, please work it and then I'll explain it to you.
Ma'am, can you show the question slide?
Yeah, oh yeah, sure.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Others, I forgot about the question. Please take down the question, children. Finish writing, children?
1 minute, ma'am.
Okay.
Completed, ma'am.
Okay. So children, these details will be understood very clearly when we do the chapter circles, children. For now, you just take it for granted. AD and BD are the tangent segments. AD and BD are the tangent segments. This whole angle is alpha. This full thing is alpha. So this will be alpha by 2. This will be alpha by 2 and this will be alpha by 2. AD and BD are the tangent segments. OD is that line. OD. O is the center of the circle. B is where the tangents meet. OD is a line segment connecting that point, that external point D and the center of the circle. In such a situation, this whole angle is bisected by OD. This whole angle is bisected by OD. Okay. So that's about this one. And I told you about beta. OC is H. We have called it H. OBD is 90. I told you this is 90 degrees. I told you radius and tangent perpendicular to each other at the point of contact. This is 90. This is also 90. All right. So now this is the right triangle where we have alpha by 2. OBD or even OAD. You can use any one. OAD. You can also use OAD. Okay, so here I've taken ODB. In right triangle, ODB. Observe very carefully. OBD or ODB is a right triangle because this is 90 degrees. ODB. ODB. This is a right triangle where this angle is 90 degrees and this one is alpha by 2. This one is alpha by 2. This is the hypotenuse because opposite of the right angle, this is the hypotenuse. This is the hypotenuse. And for alpha by 2, this is the opposite side. This is the right angle. So this is the hypotenuse. This is the hypotenuse. And for alpha by 2, this is the opposite side. And we need to use cosecant alpha by 2 because that's what we have in the result. So cosecant alpha by 2. You should take the right triangle which has alpha by 2. Right triangle is OBD or ODB, which has angle alpha by 2. And we use cosecant alpha by 2 because that is what is in the result. So cosecant alpha by 2 is equal to hypotenuse by opposite. Hypotenuse, OD. Why OD is the hypotenuse? Because that is opposite of the right angle. By opposite, OB. So cosecant alpha by 2 is equal to OD. OD we don't know by R. R is the radius of the circle, and the letter R is given to us in the question, and that is there in the final result. So don't worry about R. R is also there in the final result. So we'll write it in terms of OD. OD is equal to R, not in terms of OD. We'll write this one as we'll cross multiply, and we'll express OD in terms of R and cosecant alpha by 2. So OD is, see, it's not OD into 2 is 2 OD. It's not that, children. Alpha by 2 is one angle. Alpha by 2 is the angle. So R into cosecant alpha by 2. R into cosecant alpha by 2 is equal to OD. Is equal to OD. Alpha by 2 is an angle. You cannot separate it from cosecant. Cosecant alpha by 2 is one thing. It's in the numerator. When you cross multiply, it becomes R into cosecant alpha by 2 is equal to OD. So we are done with one right triangle where we have alpha by 2. Then the other right triangle, OCD, which has beta in it. And we have to find sine beta, because that is what is there in the final result. Opposite by hypotenuse. So this is the triangle. This is the triangle, right triangle, which has beta. For beta, this is the opposite side. And this is the hypotenuse because it's opposite to the right angle. It's opposite to the right angle. So this is the hypotenuse. So sine beta is equal to opposite h by hypotenuse OD. Now remember, children, h is what we have to find. We have to find the height of the center of the balloon. We'll have to find h. So don't think you don't need h. You'll have to find h only. So when you cross multiply, you get h is equal to OD sine beta. So you got an expression for h, OD sine beta. But what is OD? What is OD? R cosecant alpha by 2. So instead of OD, use R cosecant alpha by 2. So h is equal to R cosecant alpha by 2 sine beta. What is h? It's the height of the center of the balloon. It's the height of the center of the balloon from the ground is equal to R cosecant alpha by 2 sine beta. This is what we had to do. Any questions, children? Okay.
Ma'am?
Yeah.
Ma'am, how is alpha divided into two equal parts? I didn't get it.
Okay, so that's a theorem in the chapter circles. Circle when you take an external point, from an external point you can draw two tangents to the circle. Okay, from an external point you can draw only two tangents to the circle. Is this understood?
Yes, ma'am. In our school, they completed the circle chapter. I'm asking, how did we get that equal parts? Because theorem 10.2 is only that the outer tangents are equal to outer tangents from the external point.
No, I don't know if it is mentioned in NCERT, but we will be doing these results also. So in
Okay.
NCERT you have that proof, right? So CPCTC you will get these results.
Okay, ma'am.
In NCERT, you have the proof for the tangents from the external point of tangents drawn from an external point to the circle are equal, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So that's done by using congruency or Pythagoras theorem. I don't know how it's been taught to you. You can prove that result
CPCT
using
only, ma'am.
congruent triangles, is it?
Yes, ma'am. Most.
Okay, yeah. So CPCTC, further you'll get these two angles are equal. So
Okay, ma'am. Got
if
it.
you have learned circles in school, let me just try to. So 90 degrees. This is 90. This is in these two triangles, in this triangle and in this triangle. This angle is 90 degrees. This angle is 90 degrees. Radius perpendicular to tangent. Correct? Right angle. Common hypotenuse.
Yes,
Common hypotenuse. Because for this right triangle, this is the hypotenuse. For the other right triangle also, the same thing is the hypotenuse. So common hypotenuse. And some other side, radius. This is the radius. Or these two line segments represent the radius of the same circle. So these two triangles are congruent by the RHS congruence criterion. By RHS congruence criterion, the two triangles are congruent. So CPCTC, you will get this side is equal to this side. That means the two tangents are equal in length. The two tangents are equal in length. The tangents drawn from the same external point to the circle are equal in length. Further, you can write this angle is equal to this angle.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
This angle is equal to this angle. CPCTC. This angle is equal to this angle, CPCTC. Equal tangents are equally, this one, okay, I'll not say all that now. Now you got
Ma'am, I
it?
got it. I understood, ma'am.
Okay, yeah. Please write down this question, children.
One way previous question.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Now, 1 second question slide. Thank you.
All right. From an airplane vertically above a straight horizontal. Oh my God, there's a mistake here. There's no round here. One minute. So from an aeroplane vertically above a straight horizontal ground, the It's not round, okay? It's ground. From an aeroplane vertically above a straight horizontal ground, the angles of depression of two consecutive milestones on the opposite sides of the aeroplane are observed to be alpha and beta. Okay, so from an aeroplane, so this is the aeroplane in the sky. Vertically, where is the aeroplane? It's vertically above a straight horizontal. I guess it should be ground. So this is the vertical height. This is the vertical height of the aeroplane from the ground. This is the vertical height of the aeroplane from the ground. This is the ground level. Oh my God. Aeroplane, vertical height of the aeroplane from the ground, ground level. From an aeroplane, vertically above a straight horizontal ground. So this is the horizontal ground, right above it, vertically above the straight horizontal ground. There's an aeroplane here in the sky. The angles of depression of two consecutive milestones. So there's a consecutive milestones. So milestones which we see on the highways. So this one says, this milestone says so many, miles to Trichy. And this one says, to so many miles to Trichy. And when it is consecutive milestones, that means the distance between the two milestones is 1 mile. There are two consecutive milestones. Two consecutive milestones, meaning the distance between the two milestones is 1 mile, like 1 kilometer. If there were kilometer stones, 1 kilometer. If there were two consecutive kilometer stones, then the distance between them will be 1 kilometer. Now these are two consecutive milestones. So the distance between them will be 1 mile. The angles of depression of two consecutive milestones on the opposite sides of the aeroplane. So see here, opposite sides of the aeroplane. One is on this side, the other one is on the other side of the aeroplane. From the aeroplane, the milestones are being observed. So this will be the horizontal aeroplane milestone, line of sight. Aeroplane milestone, line of sight. Horizontal line of sight, angle of depression. Horizontal line of sight, angle of depression, alpha, beta. So alpha, beta. This distance is 1 mile. Show that the height of the aeroplane above the road. Oh, that's a road. That's not a ground. ROAD. Okay, ROAD, road. Show that the height of the airplane above the road is given by tan alpha tan beta by 1 tan alpha tan beta divided by tan alpha plus tan beta miles. So you need to find H. You need to get the result like H is equal to tan alpha tan beta by tan alpha plus tan beta miles. So when you get H is equal to, that means height of the aeroplane above the road is equal to. Please write on the proof, children.
Ma'am?
Yes.
Ma'am, here in the
And-
question, what does it mean by milestone?
Milestones are those stones which we find on the highway, right? Indicating the distance remaining to your destination.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Like say you're heading from Chennai, you're heading to Trichy. As you move on the highway, you see the milestones or the kilometer stones, which tell us the distance that is remaining to reach Trichy.
Yes, ma'am. But how is it 1 mile then?
No, here when it's given two consecutive milestones, two consecutive numbers, the difference between two consecutive numbers will be 1, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, similarly, here the distance between the two consecutive milestones will be 1 mile. 1 mile.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, 1 minute, can you please show the question slide?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
All right. Done writing, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What is A? What does A represent?
The aeroplane's position.
Aeroplane.
The position of the aeroplane. What AC? What is AC?
Height of the aeroplane.
Height from the road. ma'am.
Yeah, the vertical height of the, or simply the height of the aeroplane from the road. What is AB? What about the points B and D? What do they represent? B and D?
Milestones.
Milestones.
Consecutive milestones.
Milestones.
B and D are the positions of the two milestones, two consecutive milestones. So the length of the line segment BD is equal to
1 mile.
1 mile. So
Mile,
if BD is 1 mile, if you assume BC as x miles, then CD will be 1 mile minus x miles, right? X will not be a larger number like 0.3 miles, 0.4 miles. If BC is x, then CD will be 1 minus x. X also is in miles. If BD is 1 mile and BC is 0.3 miles, so CD will be 1 minus 0.3, that is 0.7 miles. Okay, and what is AB? How do you explain AB?
Line of sight from B. ma'am.
Line of sight. Yeah, line of sight. Line of sight connecting the point from where it is observed A to the milestone B. AB is the line of sight. What is AD?
Line of sight.
Line of sight. So you
Line
can
of-
see horizontal, yeah. You can see the horizontal marked and dotted lines. And you can see alpha and beta between the horizontal and the lines of sight. Alpha and beta. And again, angle of depression is equal to angle of elevation. So we have alpha and beta here. So this is a right triangle. Both of them are right triangles. Now the result has tan alpha and tan beta. So we must use tan alpha and tan beta in the two right triangles. Tan alpha is equal to alpha. Tan alpha is h by x, opposite by adjacent. Now, you have to just plan this earlier. Before you work this, you have to get the expression as h is equal to, I think I told you that h is equal to, because h is the height of the aeroplane from the road. You need to get h is equal to tan alpha tan beta by tan alpha plus tan beta. All right. So tan alpha is equal to opposite h by x. We are writing for x here because we need to find h. Okay, if you have a doubt here, let me not explain this at this moment. A little later, I'll tell you. The other triangle, tan beta, opposite by adjacent. So opposite is h, adjacent is 1 minus x. Now, if you look at this one, h we need, because we need to get h is equal to tan beta we need in the final result. One will just go away like that somewhere when you cross multiply or whatever. All right. It's a constant, so you don't have to worry about it. X. Do you need x in the final result? No, we don't need x. So you should substitute something for x. You must substitute something for x. That is why we write x is equal to here. X is equal to h by tan alpha. So x is h by tan alpha. So here in place of x, we are going to write h by tan alpha. So that way, all the expressions here will be, required in the final result, and we'll write h is equal to, whatever expression. So in the other right triangle, we get tan beta is equal to h by 1 minus x. you don't, it's not that you should substitute it, right here immediately for x. You can cross multiply and substitute because x is in the denominator, and when you substitute h by tan alpha here, you might have some trouble in working. So you can cross multiply and then substitute. So cross multiply. Tan alpha into tan beta into 1 is tan beta. Tan beta into x is minus x tan beta is equal to h. See, we have to substitute. You can cross multiply and then also substitute. So tan beta into 1 is tan beta into minus x is minus x tan beta is equal to h upon cross multiplying. Now substitute. We don't want x. So tan beta as it is. Tan beta as it is. Instead of instead of x, h by tan alpha. And tan beta, which is there, x tan beta, no? This is x tan beta is equal to h. We've just substituted. This is tan beta, this is x, this is x. Instead of x, h by tan alpha. This is x tan beta is equal to h. That's all. Now when you work this, you will get h. So LCM, the next step is LCM after substituting. Next step LCM, tan alpha is LCM. So tan alpha tan beta minus h tan beta is equal to h. Cross multiply and gather the terms that have h. Gather the terms that have h. I've just written it the other way. H tan alpha is equal to, brought this here and taken this here. So h tan alpha is equal to tan alpha tan beta minus h tan beta. This term has h. This one has h. So to have them on the same side. There are 3 terms in all. 2 terms have h. The 2 terms, we have taken them in the LHS, is equal to tan alpha tan beta. Take out h common. So in the bracket, tan alpha plus tan beta is equal to tan alpha tan beta. So h is equal to this one, tan alpha tan beta divided by tan alpha plus tan beta minus. Understood, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Any questions?
No, ma'am.
Yeah, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
All right, children. I think this one, yeah, it's very similar to the earlier one. Okay, let's do it fast. Write down the question. Write on the proofs, children.
Ma'am, can I show a minute of question mark? Completed, ma'am.
All right. Done, children?
No, ma'am, 1 week, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay. All right, children. So here we have to find BC. We have to find BC. That is the distance between the two ships which are on the opposite sides of the lighthouse AD. We have to find the distance between the two ships which are at the opposite sides of the lighthouse AD. So we have to find BC. We have to find BC. I've called BD as X and DC as Y. So we have to find BC, meaning we'll have to find X plus Y. So we'll find X from one right triangle, Y from the other right triangle, and we'll add both. We'll find X from one right triangle, Y from the other right triangle, and then we'll add X and Y, X plus Y. X plus Y is nothing but BC. So when you get BC is equal to some expression, that means the distance between the two ships is given by that expression. So I don't think I have anything much to say in this. This is a simple one. And it's given, H is given in the question. H is given in the question, H meters. H meters. And you can see it up the result also, H. H is also there in the result. And for alpha and beta, you'd have to use tan. Tan alpha, tan beta. So from one right triangle, tan alpha and find X. From the other right triangle, tan beta and find Y. Then X plus Y. X plus Y is nothing but BC. It's nothing but BC. H is common, take it out. And then common denominator, tan alpha, tan beta. In the numerator, you get tan beta plus tan alpha, which is nothing but tan alpha plus tan beta. All of you finished writing this?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, completed, ma'am.
Okay. Allergy. So here a tower subtends an angle alpha at a point A in the plane of its base. So plane is a level ground. Plane of its base, base meaning the foot of the tower. Of its base meaning the foot of the tower. The foot of the tower is on a plane, that is, it's on a ground level. A tower subtends and this point A is on the same plane. This point A is on the same plane. A tower subtends an angle alpha. It's not angle of elevation, it subtends an angle alpha at a point A of its base. At a point A in the plane of its base. See here, tower. This is the foot of the tower. This is the plane where the base of the tower is. This is the plane or the level ground in which the base of the tower is. This is the tower. This is the top of the tower. Base of the tower. This is the ground or the plane, the level ground or the plane in which, or the flat surface. Plane meaning a flat surface. This is the flat surface on which the base is. Now, let's say this point is A. This point is A. At this point A, the tower subtends an angle alpha. So when a line segment subtends an angle, it is from, you should bring the ends of the line segment to the point A. Bring the ends of the line segment to the point A. Like this. See, when I say, see, this is a line segment, okay? This is a line segment. There's a point A here. There's a point A here. It subtends, this line segment subtends an angle at A, meaning you must bring the ends of the line segment to A. Bring the ends of the line segment to A. This is the angle subtended. This is the angle subtended by the ends of the line segment at the point A. I'll tell you again. Tower. Point A. The tower subtends an angle alpha at A. Subtends meaning this is one end of the tower, this is the other end of the tower. That is, this is the bottom of the base of the tower, this is the top of the tower. Now here it's represented by a line segment. So these are the two ends of the line segment. Bring the ends of the line segment to that point A. Bring the ends of the line segment to that point A. This is the angle subtended. This is the angle subtended by the tower at the point A on the level ground or on the plane. This is the angle subtended by the tower at the point A on the plane, and that's given to be alpha. Is this fine, children? Subtends means when a line segment subtends an angle at some other point, you should join the ends of the line segment to that point. And so this becomes one arm of the angle, this becomes the other arm of the angle, and between the two arms is the angle alpha. And the angle of depression of the foot of the tower at a point B meters just above A. Okay, so we have to take a point B meters just above A, vertically above A, just above A. There's a point like this just above A, and the distance, it is B meters above the point A. This point is B meters above point A, just above point A. Just above the point A, we have taken a point which is B meters above the ground. From this point, when you look at the foot of the tower, this is the tower, foot of the tower. So that means this is the horizontal, this is the horizontal. From here, we are looking at the foot of the tower, This is the horizontal. This is the foot of the tower. Sorry, this is the foot of the tower. So from here, we look down at the foot of the tower. Horizontal line of sight, angle of depression is beta. Prove that the height of the tower is b tan alpha quad beta. So tower, point A, it subtends an angle alpha at point A. It subtends an angle alpha at point A. Alpha. Point A, beam meters above point A. From this point, you're looking down at the foot of the tower. So you're looking down like this is the line of sight. This is the line of sight. This is the horizontal. And the angle between the horizontal and line of sight is the angle of depression, which is beta. If this is B, this is also B. We need to find the height of the tower. So we need to just find this and add B to it. See here, the result has B in it because B is a letter which is used in the question. Alpha, beta, B, all this used given in the information. Prove the height of the tower. That means this full height, this one, is given by beta and alpha quad beta. Done, children? This is simple. I'm not explaining this.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So here we find A plus B, and A plus B is only the height of the tower. A plus B is the height of the tower, CD. And we use cot beta because that's what is in the result. Shall I show the next one?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. All of you finished?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So here a ladder rests against a wall at an angle alpha to the horizontal. So this is the wall, this is the wall, this is the ground, and this is the ladder. This is the ladder. Wall, ground, ladder. A ladder can rest only like this. It cannot be vertical. You cannot keep a ladder vertical. It has to be inclined to the ground. That's how you place a ladder. That's how you place, or that's how a ladder rests against a wall. So a ladder rests against a wall at an angle alpha to the horizontal. This is the horizontal. It makes an angle alpha with the horizontal. This is the horizontal. This is the horizontal. This is the ladder. The ladder makes an angle alpha with the horizontal. Its foot is pulled away from the wall, pulled away from the wall. This is the foot of the ladder. You're pulling the foot away from the wall, through a distance A. So this distance is A, this distance is A. So what happens? It will slide down the wall. When you pull the foot away, it will come down. It will slide the top. This is the top of the ladder. It will come down, it will slide down here. When you pull the foot away, from the wall by A meters, the top of the ladder will slide down. It slides down a distance B. So it comes down by a distance B on the wall, making an angle beta with the horizontal. Now it makes, this is the ladder, this is the ladder, this is the ladder. It makes an angle beta with the horizontal. See, both these line segments represent the ladder, so they're of the same length. This is the ladder. This is also the same ladder. They represent the same length. Show that A by B is equal to cos alpha minus cos beta by sin beta minus sin alpha. So here, for in the right triangles where you have alpha and beta, you must use sin alpha and beta, sin alpha, sin beta, cos alpha, cos beta. So let's see the figure again. Wall, ground, ladder, ground, inclination alpha. This is the foot of the ladder. It's pulled away from the wall through a distance of A meters. No, not A meters, A, through distance A. So now this is the foot of the ladder. This is the foot of the ladder. The top of the ladder will slide down. It will come down. The distance is B. And now this is how the ladder rests against the wall, like this. Now it makes an angle beta of the horizontal. Beta of the horizontal. This one is beta. Now you need to show that A by B is given by cos alpha minus cos beta divided by sin beta minus sin alpha. Is the figure understood, children?
Ma'am.
Ma'am, 1 minute, show the question, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am?
Yes, Arna.
I'm having doubt.
Last step, how did
No, we have one more to go. So I just want you to write down that proof also in today's class. We'll see the explanation to question number 10 and 11 in the next class, children. I just want you to finish it. Yeah. But your doubt you can ask, yeah. That doubt alone I can help. What's your question?
Ma'am, in the last step, how did we change cos beta minus cos alpha into cos alpha minus cos beta? We
Yes,
did not
ma'am.
use
Same
the-
doubt I'm having already.
Okay. That alone we can see. Yes, sure. So now if I have A minus B by C minus D. Okay, I write it as B minus A. But I need to take a minus outside. Divided by D minus C. And take a minus outside. Now A minus B, now multiply minus into B, minus into minus A plus A. Is A minus B and minus of B minus A the same?
Yes, ma'am.
A minus B is the same as minus of B minus A because multiply minus into plus B. When you multiply this and this, you will get minus B. And when you multiply minus into minus A, you will get plus A. Denominator minus into D, minus D. Minus into minus C is plus C. So you can write A minus B as minus of B minus A. And you can write C minus D as minus of D minus C. So what happens? The minus and minus will get cancelled. So you can write A minus B by C minus D as B minus A by D minus C. Now you understand?
Yes, ma'am, clear, ma'am.
Cos beta minus cos alpha. Sin alpha minus sin beta. So the numerator cos beta minus cos alpha is written as cos alpha minus cos beta. Denominator sin alpha minus sin beta as sin beta minus sin alpha. So actually the minus was taken out common. Maybe I'll include that step and show you the answer. Okay, I'll just include that and then by the next class I'll just make that change. Yeah, we take a minus common. Z and Z will get cancelled. And we take a minus out common because the result is like that. Because you'll have to get the result like that. Cos alpha minus cos beta like this. So we make that change. Or if you finish writing?
I'm completed.
Yes, ma'am.
So write the question, the answer, maybe you can take a screenshot, complete the answer and then share your pictures on WhatsApp.
Ma'am. Completed.
Finish writing the question, huh?
Ma'am, I took screenshot.
Oh, okay. Okay, fine. Yeah, do that, children. Take a picture. Take a picture, children. Took a picture, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, children. Yeah, class, use the emoji. Raise your hand. Ravi and Shri.
Can you show the question one more time, ma'am?
Yeah, just a minute. So today we have Arnav, Priyadarshini, Srinivasan, Muttuvel, Nafi, Tirunesh, Sudarshan, Anish, Shakti, Nivedita, Lakshita, Nishita, Rakshan, Hariharan, Priya, Shruti, Bala Harish, Akshayram, Ravya and Shriya. Yeah, that's good. Very good, children. All right. Yeah, you can see the question again. Done?
Yes, ma'am.
Answer slide again.
Yes, ma'am. Done, ma'am.
Okay. All right, children. So that's it for today's session. Thank you
Questions
so-
1 minute, ma'am. Questions 1 minute, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right. All right, children. So that's it for today's class. Thank you so much. Good night.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, children. Good night.